I'm gonna take one of these and see. This is so good. Definitely taste that fresh peas, even if they're frozen. Fresh peas, just a hint of lemon. This is a sourdough, because that's all I had in the cupboard for right now. But you can use a French bread crostini as well. Oops, I lost the tomato. But this is so good, just that hint of lemon. Oh, I love it. Well, hi you guys, it's me, Amy, in Amy Roloff's little kitchen once again. I just got back from a kind of a 3-day road trip with my good friend Lisa and business partner because it was her birthday. And we rarely get to do anything together. So we took a road trip to Bend, and anyway, so I'm back in my kitchen. And then I found out that we're still under COVID-19, obviously, the whole country is to some degree, but our state, it just got locked down for 2 weeks. I'm like, 2 weeks, this is in the middle of Thanksgiving. And so I'm really kind of bummed because there's so much we want to do. And I love cooking. I love cooking for other people. And I love making some meals and, you know, taking some hors d'oeuvres and all that other stuff to my kids and, you know, anyone else that cares to have any. So anyway, I'm back in my kitchen because you know what? The one thing I think is really important is that we continue to gather with whoever we're safely able to gather with. Whether it be your own family or you have your pod of people where you know what your friends have been doing and who they've been socializing with or whatever it may be. So keep cooking. I'm gonna try and get out as many recipes as I can because like I said before, it's just me doing all these videos and it's a lot of work, but I love cooking. I love talking to you guys and I love the fact that you love watching the videos. So anyway, Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen, and one of the things that I wanted to show you are a couple of appetizers. The one thing when I'm cooking a meal for everyone, I kind of like that little bite to eat that they can nibble on while the dinner is finished cooking, or I'm doing last minute, you know, things to whatever I'm cooking. And so, but I always struggle with what's a good, simple appetizer that isn't involved and takes all of this work compared to the meal that you're doing. So I like convenience, I like simple, I like easy. The only other time that I'll make a more involved appetizer is if I'm going over to someone else's house and that's the only thing I'm bringing or wanted to bring or need to bring, whatever. I'll get a little more involved in the appetizer because I have the time. Hi, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you are enjoying it. And I would really appreciate it if you liked it and subscribed to it. And oh, don't forget to click that little bell up there and you'll be notified of future videos that are new and coming on my YouTube channel. So thank you so much for that. And I would really appreciate it if you shared the video and let other people know and encourage them to subscribe and like the videos as well. So anyway, thank you and back to the video. So I'm going to show you two appetizers and I hope you like them. The first one is going to be a peas pesto. Yes, you heard me right. Peas. P-E-A-S. I remember growing up as a kid, I did not like peas. I kind of liked the canned peas. Whenever we went camping, I liked the canned vegetables better than I did the frozen. My mom used a lot of frozen vegetables. But for some reason, peas were not my friend. I did not like them. Of course, I'm glad I'm older. My taste buds have matured and I like peas. Chris doesn't like peas. I'm not even sure he's gonna like this. Maybe I won't tell him it's actually made with peas. So, very simple. It's like any other pesto that you're gonna make. You can kind of just throw things together as long as you have olive oil, something to blend the olive oil with, and maybe a little bit of cheese, a little bit of salt and pepper. You can add parsley, you can add arugula, you can add kale, you can add basil, whatever you want. Just kind of make it your own. This version that I have here is basically what I had in the fridge. I still have this lemon that I can use, and I think that'll add some brightness and some spark to this pesto. The one thing that I have noticed about peas is that they do have a sweetness to it. I was really amazed over that, but these are frozen peas, by the way. These are frozen peas. This is a great springtime pesto, great pasta pesto over seafood, fish, even chicken. But sometimes when it's winter and the fall or the holidays, I kind of like a little, pick-me-up, springtime. Kind of gives a different vibe to all the heavier aromas and spices and food and the meats and the gravies and the potatoes. So anyway, one package, I think maybe about 10.5 ounces, somewhere around there, of frozen peas. And all that I did to these, I don't like microwaving them. Really all I did to this was just run it under really hot water or very warm water, just so they're not frozen anymore. I had some leftover basil because I made the mistake of putting basil in the refrigerator. Basil and cold are not friends. I have learned that over the years, and I still get in the habit of putting them in the fridge. So they do have a little brown on some of the leaves, but this is a pesto. Oh, the aroma is still so lovely. I think they're going to be great for the for this pesto. I'm even going to add just a little bit of fresh parsley too, because I think that'll be really good. I've got a couple of cloves of garlic here that I'll cut up, salt and pepper. I've got this for a little lemon zest, and I'm even going to slice up some green onions here. So let's get going. Peas pesto, and I'll give you some ideas. Well, I think I already did, but how I'm going to make these is just on like a crostini, like a little bread, bruschetta, whatever you want to call it. It's like a little baguette, yes, a baguette. I think I know how to talk. A little baguette that I slice on an angle, and we're going to just brush a little bit of olive oil on it. Just kind of broil or roast or toast them in the oven just a little bit so they just have a little bit of crunch to it. But I think before I even get started, I gotta get my food processor out. I forgot that. Okay, I got my food processor out. In fact, this is a really old food processor. I probably have had this at least for 20 years, and it still works, it still functions, and it's great. But I almost kind of wish I had a newer one, because I think the newer ones are lighter and not as bulky. I might have to check into that. But anyway, this food processor works great. I think it's a Cuisinart food processor. I'm not sure, because my production company Greeked, meaning they put a big fat old sticker tape over it to not have the brand show. Anyway, I am going to cut really finely as best I can, because the food processor will do most of it. So I'm just going to cut up 3 cloves of garlic. I think I'm talking too fast. That's why I'm getting a little tongue-tied. So we're going to get some garlic in here. I'm going to chop up 3 green onions. Some people call them spring onions. I don't know. I use a lot of green onions in a lot of stuff. So you want the whites, the greens, and a little bit of the green parts to them. I'm just going to do 2 because I really don't want a huge, strong onion flavor. And you know what? If you don't have green onions, but you have some shallots, feel free to do a little bit of shallots. I wouldn't do probably more than a tablespoon of shallots for that. I have a ½ cup of Parmesan. I remember to say that right. Parmesan, about a half a cup of grated Parmesan. Parmigiano Reggiano, yeah. So we're just gonna pile that in there. See, this is so easy. You just let the food processor do the work. Okay, what else do I need? Okay, I'm gonna do a little lemon zest. I'm gonna do it over this bowl. Just a little bit. I think lemon zest just really gives it some flavor, some spark to it. And because the peas are sweet, peas just have a tendency to have like their natural sweetness to it. I think having a little bit of lemon juice and zest is going to be really good. So I'm going to just squeeze. I did a very big slice, and I would have to say a very big slice, I don't know. This is a juicy lemon. So I would say not more than maybe a tablespoon. Okay, I think that's done. I love my apron, especially when I don't have a piece of paper towel around. Okay, we got the lemon zest, lemon juice, a little bit of that. Let's get our basil in there. This is just a small bunch of basil, not a lot. We're gonna shove that down in there. Gonna get a bunch of, and yes, I do wash my vegetables, but I also put them back in the bag too. Make sure they're dry though, because if not, they wilt. I don't like the stems because they're, you know, a little hard, so I'm just gonna take a few parsley sprigs, because that'll add some really nice freshness green to this as well. So we're just gonna pluck these, pluck the leaves off. Because look at that, see? I don't want the whole stem in there. And I was wearing a sweater, like a little jacket thing over this shirt. But when I cook, because I'm like right there in the food and my arms and everything, I didn't want that whole thing to get all dirty and food all over it. So that's why I usually wear a t-shirt or definitely an apron. I love my apron. You should go to amyroloffslittlekitchen.com because we're gonna have some aprons. We have a local person, a local sewer that's helping us out. I'm so excited about that. I'll have to show you guys our new holiday one. Okay, so we got a couple of sprigs of parsley in there. What else do I need? Here's my olive oil. Oh, let's do the main ingredient, the peas. We'll do this. Whoa. They're bouncing all over the place. Just gently scooping them in because sometimes the opening in the food processor isn't as big. I don't know, I really like this pesto. It's easy, it's something different than what normally people would think pesto is made out of. Peas are good, vitamins, it's just good for you. Oh yeah, a little bit of salt. Just gonna add a little bit of salt because I know the cheese already has a little bit. So really just a hearty pinch, not a wimpy one, a hearty one. So we'll put that over there. A little bit of ground pepper. And then get my stuff on. And hopefully I did this right because this thing will work. And we are going to do, since my little measuring cup has a little spout on it, I'm going to start off with about a half a cup of olive oil. Use good olive oil. Then again, I think most olive oil is good, and this one is extra light because I don't want a heavy olive flavor. But regular olive oil will work just as well. Okay, let's go here. And I'm gonna pulse and slowly drizzle in the olive oil. Let me get a scraper so that when you use a food processor and the food goes on the side of the bowl, I want that to be incorporated in it too. So I'm gonna take this off. Scoop that all down. Now, if you think the pesto is a little soft, a little bit thick and you want it a little more loose, I would just add a little bit more olive oil, drizzle it as you go, or you can even add just a little bit of water, maybe like a teaspoon at a time. Here, let me do this. So here we go. I'm gonna scrape it again, like I said, because I want every little bit to be incorporated. Now let me give this a taste, just to be sure that I don't need anything else. I'm really glad I added the little lemon juice. Oh, it adds just enough little spark. I do think it needs a little more salt. Yeah, I'm really glad I added the lemon juice. Let's see if I can get any more little squeeze out of that big, thick slice. Okay. Let's go back in here. Oh yeah, this is it. And for me, pesto, like when basil is the main ingredient, you can still taste the basil. I think when it comes to the peas pesto, I really want to taste the peas. I don't want to over flavor it too much because this is peas pesto. That should be the main star. Let me get another spoon because I gotta taste it again. No, I think that's good. What did I tell you guys? Did I say a half a cup of cheese? I think I'm gonna add just a little bit more. I'm gonna have to cut open one though. So I'm gonna go just a little more cheese. Might as well eat that end. Good stuff. Let me cut this off. Okay, I got the wrapping off of the cheese, Parmesan. So we're just gonna grate this a little bit because I think I need just a little bit extra cheese here. So feel free as you taste as you go. You may not think you need more cheese, but I did say about a half a cup, anywhere from maybe a half to 3/4. Definitely a couple of teaspoons of olive oil, if not more. I think I might have said a half a cup. I'll have to revisit that amount. Okay, I think that's about a 1/4 cup. We'll get that off. Put this back in there. Get every little bit. Now you'll notice that I did not put pine nuts or anything like that in there. You can, if you want, make it like close to the true traditional pesto that we do with basil, but I'm choosing not to do that. Okay, I think that's it. I waited to where do I put that? I waited to do the bread until I was all done with this because I really want to pay attention to watching it as you toast it in the oven, broil it or whatever, because you just want it just lightly brown, not too crunchy where it just kind of just crumbles all over the place. So I got a few slices here. It definitely makes more pesto than some of these slices here. But since it's just Chris and I only made a few. And yes, I'm gonna try and convince Chris to eat some. So I got just a little bit of olive oil with a dash of salt in here. And I'm just gonna gently brush these. You know what I really kind of miss? I kind of miss the brush, the actual brush of a pastry brush type of thing. I don't know if this rubber thing really works well with it. Anyway, so I'm just gonna flip these over because we might have to flip them over in the oven so that both sides get equal amount, so that you don't have one side toasted and then the other side soft. So I'm just gonna just brush this a little bit, olive oil. So I do have the oven on broil and it's really gonna be so fast. I do have it on low, but it's really gonna take maybe a minute or two. So I really wanna keep an eye on it. Okay, literally, the bread only took a few minutes. See how they're lightly toasted around the edge, but it'll still have a little bit of that chew in the center, and that's really kind of what I wanted with this. I didn't want the whole baguette to be crunchy. So let me find a plate for this and we'll start dishing this up. So I have the baguettes arranged on this little plate. There's one more thing I wanted to do. I went ahead and bought some sun-dried tomatoes. I think the full flavor of the tomato and the tartness of it will be great to balance off of the sweetness of the peas and the peas pesto. You know, in the summertime or late summer when tomatoes are in, cherry tomatoes or even little Roma tomatoes, I usually slice them up and dice them and just put them on top of the pesto, just with a sprinkle of cheese and then or fresh thyme. So let's get those out, and I just really want them, I don't know, I have about 3 sun-dried tomatoes here. By the way, I love this knife, but for me, it's not working with cutting this up. So I'm gonna use this knife. I don't want big chunks of sun-dried tomato because that might be a little bit too tart for some people. But I love sun-dried tomatoes in a lot of stuff. I mean, if you want that full flavor but you don't have enough tomato sauce or tomatoes or something like that, just put a few sun-dried tomatoes in there. That'll do it for you in some of your dishes. Okay, let's chop these up a little bit with the other one. There's one thing I tell you I've got to really seriously do is sharpen up some of my knives. I don't know, my knives go dull so quick or something. And I would have to say these knives aren't inexpensive. They do cost, but it's worth it to get a good knife. So I'm just gonna really chop that up a little bit. Because sun-dried tomatoes don't have that crispness, oh my goodness, of, you know, a fresh tomato. So you gotta put a little bit of effort into it to dice them up. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, I went ahead and got a new spoon. We're gonna There's our pesto. So look at our pesto. Isn't that a nice color? Nice color green. I tell you the truth, this is great for Christmas because you got the little bit of the green and the red. So I'm just gonna take a dollop and a teaspoon. Hopefully you guys can see this. And I'm just gonna put a little bit on the bread. Just like that. See? I'm gonna do all of them here. Take me a few minutes. So I've got one more to do. To put the pesto on this sliced baguette. I mean, just the freshness of it. And this is so pretty all by itself, but I do think it needs a little bit of a topping. So I'm just gonna put just a few of the chopped up sun-dried tomatoes on it. Some pieces are bigger than others, and that's okay. If you do find yourself with a bigger piece, you can just take it and slice it up a little bit. Okay, you guys can't see it. Felix thinks this is food for him. He's so funny. Okay. There we go. Peas, pesto, crostini. I'm even going to just dab just a little bit of cheese on it. I think this looks so festive, and it really wasn't that hard. Sometimes with dishes like this or a little appetizer, half the work is the prep. But I think this is so very simple. People are going to mistake this for bacon, but it is sun-dried tomatoes. There we go. Okay, you know what? Because I have to taste it, I'm going to take one of these and see. This is so good. Definitely taste that fresh peas, even if they're frozen. Fresh peas, just a hint of lemon. This is a sourdough because that's all I had in the cupboard for right now. But you can use a French bread crostini as well. Oops, I lost the tomato. But this is so good, just that hint of lemon. Oh, I love it. This is an easy appetizer to do. Peas, pesto with sun-dried tomatoes on a little crostini. You can find this recipe and all of the other recipes over at Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen or on my YouTube channel. So I would love it if you guys subscribe to it on my YouTube channel. Some of these recipes, I'm collecting them all together in like a downloadable version. You can have the video, you can print out the recipe, but it's all going to be all together instead of going individually with the recipes that I've made so far. So hopefully that's of interest to you guys because we've gotten a lot of feedback on that. So one appetizer down, peas pesto with sun-dried tomatoes. On to the next. And then like I said, be sure to go to amyroloffslittlekitchen.com and on my YouTube channel, and you can find all of these recipes and the videos to them. Thank you for joining me in Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen. Bye.